everyone, my name is Brandi Preston and I am the founder of the Brandi Preston Hereditary Cancer Foundation. In this video I want to talk just a little bit about what the foundation hopes to accomplish, but before I do that I want to give you a little bit of background as to how the foundation came to be. The foundation is named after Brandi Preston, and she was my mother. She was diagnosed at age 35 with very aggressive breast cancer. And obviously when you're diagnosed, the question of family history comes up. And she had, her grandmother had breast cancer in her 60s, and her great-grandmother had breast and ovarian cancer in her 70s. So initially doctors kind of looked at that family history and they said, postmenopausal breast cancers are fairly common, and 1 in 8 women are going to get breast cancer in their lifetime. So more than likely your family just has bad luck. It took a while before a doctor really questioned that family history and told my mom, you would probably be a good candidate for genetic testing. So they looked into it a little bit and discovered insurance considered it a pre-existing condition. It was before 2008 when the GINA Act was passed. So insurers could deny you coverage, they could drop your coverage, or they could charge you an arm and a leg. And my mom just decided, she still had to combat this cancer and it really wasn't worth it. So she, fought a good, hard fight, but eventually the inevitable end was in sight. And she decided, if I'm not going to be here to help my kids navigate this journey, it's very important for me to at least arm them with the information that they're going to need. So she went ahead with the testing. And she came back positive for the BRCA1 gene mutation. And people think I'm crazy when I say this, but I'm very thankful that she came back positive for that gene. She already had the cancer, and we clearly had the family history that shows that this was like a plague in our family. And, it was just a validation that it wasn't a lifestyle issue. It wasn't in the water. It was in our genes, and there was nothing really anybody could have done to prevent this cancer from happening. So 3 days before she died, she gathered all of us around her bedside. I was 14, my brother was 13, and my sister was 9. And she told all of us that we had a 50-50 chance of also carrying this gene, and that it was an expectation, not an option, to get the testing as soon as we were old enough. So on our 19th birthday, my brother and I both went in and we got testing. We both came back positive for BRCA1, just like our mom. And what did this mean? I mean, this, for a woman, it means you have an 87% risk of breast cancer. And so it's super important to stay on top of your monitoring. You can look at preventative surgeries that essentially eliminate your risk. But through this journey, my brother and I learned that the cost of testing is so expensive. At age 19, I was a freshman in college, and I was a waitress. And I can tell you the $700 for the single-site analysis was a lot, and that was waiting a lot of tables to save up for that test. And quite frankly, a lot of people aren't going to choose the genetic test over their rent or their car payment or their insurance that month. They're just not going to do it. So Ben and I decided there was definitely a need for somebody to help cover the cost of testing. Also, as we've, gone through our screening and I opted to have a preventative mastectomy, we've learned that there's definitely a need for doctors to be aware of hereditary cancers in general. And it's the awareness that all of these different cancers can all be associated with one gene. It's not all it can be all breast cancers, but a lot of times there's a case of prostate here and a case of colon here and a case of breast cancer here. There's an array of different cancers associated with one gene mutation. So it's knowledge for doctors to look at those family history forms, those lengthy forms we fill out every time we go to the doctor, to look at that and to analyze and say, hey, does this patient need genetic testing? Are they a candidate? And also among the general public, be aware of your family history. Ask your grandparents, who has had cancer and at what age were they diagnosed. So we think education is critically important. Also, we want to reach Western Nebraska. Out in the Panhandle, it could take you 2 to 3 hours to see a single doctor, not even counting a specialist. So it's important for these doctors to be able to administer a genetic test and analyze the results and best treat their patients locally so they don't have to travel 2 to 3 hours to know this information. And so that's what the foundation hopes to accomplish. We would love to have your input. Feel free to reach out to us if you think that you are possibly a candidate for genetic testing and you need help, or if you have a question about how to gather some of this information. We're here to help, and we look forward to getting to know you guys and sharing this journey with you.